Aloha friends! Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be making guava chia seed pudding. So delicious and refreshing. I've already started to clean up these guavas, eight guavas, and start by washing them and cutting off the ends and cutting off any brown spots. Brown spots can be oxidization or bacterias, etc. So you always want to cut those off of your fruits and your veggies. And if you don't want to make a whole jar of chia seed pudding, you can have this recipe if you like. Or you can put it in a bowl if you want to make it in a bowl. I find it to be very convenient in a jar, but a bowl is also acceptable. I think it's fresher, if you can put it in a Tupperware or a jar. A bowl, as long as it has a tight lid. But whatever you can do to keep it from getting air inside, because air oxidizes things and ages them. So we definitely want to reduce that as much as possible. So this is the first of many recipes that I'll be sharing with you, and these recipes are good for anyone who has any kind of health challenge, or pretty much everyone. They're good for everyone, but especially someone that is having health challenges, it'll help. It's taken me years to figure out to keep my food very simple, to keep my recipes simple, and I finally figured it out. So okay, let's get right to it. We're gonna take out our blender, put our 8 guavas into the blender, and then going to add a half a cup of water, maybe 3/4 cup. I think it just depends on how much fruit you have and how well it's blending, but I usually start with about a half a cup of water, and then I will add water as needed. You just want to get that nice smooth consistency, and then if you're not getting it, you can add a little bit more water like I'm doing here, and blend until smooth. Get that nice creamy smooth fruity pectin. Okay, so we've got nice smooth creamy pectin. We're going to take out our strainer. Actually, I think I'm going to use a bowl. I have a specific bowl that I like using with my strainer. It's like the perfect size. Okay, and now we're going to pour in the guava fruit. And guava has tiny little seeds that are super hard. Sometimes when I'm eating guava, I'll just swallow them. Sometimes I chew on them, but they're not very chewy, so probably not very good for your teeth, especially if you have crowns or onleys. So we're just going to stir this guava pectin around and around and strain out the seeds. Just keep going around with a spoon. And the first time I made this pudding, I left the seeds in and it was really inconvenient. So I think it's a lot better if you just strain them. It takes a little extra time, but in the end, you'll be a lot happier. It's nice to have chia seed pudding with the little chia seeds, but with the hard guava seeds, it's kind of hard to get through. You just end up swallowing it whole. Okay, so just gonna squeeze out any last bit of fruity pectin here. And then I'm going to take my knife and just scrape off the bottom and get all this juicy goodness. And then you're going to want to wash out all those seeds out of your blender because they're going to stick in the bottom of the blender for sure. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the philosophy of these recipes. And part of that philosophy is fresh is best. Fresh is always best. I cannot emphasize that enough. And it's interesting, but even healthy food can make you sick if it's not fresh. And that's been part of my experience. So that's something I definitely want to share with everyone. Fresh is always best. It's best if you can put the food in the fridge for one day while you're prepping, and then into the freezer after you've prepped on day one or on day two. And it's absolutely not good to eat food from the fridge after the 4th day. So whatever you do, make sure you've eaten it by day 4. Okay, so we're gonna scrape all of this fruity pulp into, guava pulp into the blender. And then we are going to add 1 cup of coconut milk. You can also add almond milk if you like. Those 2 milks are acceptable. I think hazelnut is also pretty low, pretty mild, so you can also use hazelnut, although that's not a very common one, and I actually have not been able to find hazelnuts at the health food store so far. So best bet is either the coconut milk, which you're probably going to find in cans. You might also find it in the cartons. If you do buy the cans, make sure it's BPA free. Of course, the best is if you can buy a coconut and or just coconut meat and make your own coconut milk. Yeah, here we're going to do 2 cups of coconut milk. So we started with 2 cups of guavas, adding 2 cups of coconut milk. We're also going to add some maple syrup. If you have sugar issues, you might want to add less. Here we're going to add 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. But if you have sugar issues, you may want to add 1 or a 4th teaspoon. If you have candida or, diabetes, any kind of blood sugar issues, you want to go with less. But maple syrup is pretty mild. So I will place down in the notes links to some products that can help you with that, balancing your sugar. And we're also adding 2 pinches of cardamom I just added before the maple syrup. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and blend. On my fingernails today, I have Color Street Color Strawberry Sunrise. For any of you ladies that are interested in buying the nail strips, dry nail polish strips, one of the best inventions ever. Been using them for almost a year now, and I absolutely love them. So I'll always tell you what color I'm wearing in my videos. Okay, so now we're going to pull out our chia seeds and just going to put them in the bottom of the jar. And we're going to use 8 tablespoons of chia seeds. So quite a lot of chia seeds. Don't spill your jar, whatever you do. I think it's best if you have a wide mouth mason jar. Right now, this is the only one I have that's clean, so we're going with it. Use what you have, whatever you have. If you need to adjust the recipes, however you want to adjust them, you know, if you need to leave something out which you don't have, that's perfectly fine. Use what you have. And, you know, you can always adjust these recipes to your taste preferences, health preferences. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. 8 tablespoons of chia. And then we're going to pour our guava mixture into the jar. Okay, and pouring now. Oh, and I made a mess. So, just gonna pour the mixture all the way up, almost to the top. You want to leave a little bit of space in the top because chia seeds expand a little bit. And yeah, let me clean up this mess a little bit. Okay, and maybe just raise it up a little bit when you pour it. That way it'll go into the jar. Okay, then put on your lid, and then we're going to shake it up. And you have that little space on the top of the jar so that you have room to shake it. Like I said, you can also do this in a bowl. And then, of course, you'll mix it round and round to make sure that the seeds don't clump together. And pour a little bit more in the top, but not all the way. Leave a little, you know, 2 inches maybe in the top for those chia seeds to expand. And then you're going to go ahead and put it into the fridge for 2 hours. Yeah, shake it up a little bit more to get those seeds off the bottom of the jar. And then sometimes I'll make it at nighttime. That makes it easy because you can just put it into the fridge overnight, and then it's nice and thick when you get up in the morning. You can have it for breakfast, you can have it snacks, and you can have it dinner. So thank you so much for joining us today for my first recipe. If you have any questions, please ask. And happy eating. Aloha, friends.